Jessie B Scrapbooking back with another process video. This one's for 30 Days of Sketches. The sketch is by Scrappy Lauren Tides. And I'm going to use these two pictures. One is my brother, one is my son, showing my brother how to run his piece of equipment called a skidder. I picked out some very rustic looking papers and yeah. Okay, so I love this paper pad. It's the one that I got from Hobby Lobby for Mother's Day, and I decided to go with this wood grain for the background, and then for some reason my camera shut off and I didn't notice, but I cut all these squares. They're like an inch and a half, no, inch and a quarter, and then I did an inch and a half white square just out of like, printer paper to go behind them. I'm going to rough up the edge of every single one of them. And then when I was looking at it, that white was just a little too glary for me. So I will come in here in a second. I'll show you that I'm going to ink the edges of that white paper in the background. So it's distressed and inked, but I'm going to leave the pattern paper uninked, if that makes sense. So here's the last one I'm doing. I figure you probably didn't need to watch me do every single one of these squares. And then I never even thought about checking to see where my pictures were going to sit. So I didn't need to do all these squares because I think 2 whole rows get covered up by my pictures. But that's okay. So I am going to get these all adhered down, and I'm just going to put them in columns and rows and just line them up by eye. I'm not going to get out a ruler or anything. I'm kind of using my mat in the background to help, since it has that grid on it. It makes it super easy. I do believe I have more border around the top than I do the bottom, but not a whole lot. And it works out really well. I'm just using some tacky glue here in my fine liner bottle, and it holds papers very well. And I'm not putting a lot on it because I don't want things to start warping like they can do with liquid glues. So I'm just putting a small amount in a circle in the middle of each square. So I get those all on there. And then I'm going to cut down my pictures a tiny bit. Not a lot. They still end up being pretty big pictures. But I wanted to, so my brother used to be a mechanic in the Air Force. So he knows all about, planes and aircrafts of all kinds, and he's really smart with computers and stuff like that. But he's never been in a skidder that I know of. And so my son, he's been riding the skidder since he was, I don't know, I think he started at 17. So he was showing his uncle his skidder, and yeah, they were just having a lot of fun up there. And so I was able to grab a picture of him showing him and my brother and sitting inside the skidder. As he said, pretending to run it. He didn't actually run it, but he got to sit in it, and he enjoyed that. My pictures were kind of disappearing into the background, so I grabbed this red plaid, and I am just going to do a little border around because there's no other red anywhere else on the layout, so it really brings your attention right to the pictures, and I really like that. I did fussy cut out some of those trees out of the one paper that I picked, and I'm using the arrows in the sketch as kind of like, they reminded me of trees in the sketch, so that's what I'm using in those spots as trees. And then it has three big circles on the sketch. So I am going to bring in my circle punch. I do one plaid circle, one wood grain circle, and then I end up bringing in one of the like pine boughs in a circle. But I do put everything up onto Fun Foam here, at least the pictures, I mean, and I'm getting them all adhered down. Because everything is distressed in the background. So the pictures were not going to lay flat on there anyway. So I figured popping them up on Fun Foam would be perfect. I decided to cut out another little tree. And then I put one of my circles as an epoxy flare. And I thought about doing the other ones and I changed my mind. So I'm only going to have one. And actually all the circles are inked, the edges are inked, but they do not stay like they are right here. I do move them around. And yeah, I decided to go ahead and glue everything down. I am using both my ATG and my liquid glue to get them both pictures to adhere down. The ATG gives it that instant stick and the glue will give it that permanent stick. At least I hope so. So far it's been working. And now I'm going to put the little embellishments popped up onto some Fun Foam too. So this little tree, since so much of it was hanging off, I'll put it up. And then these little trees, just the bottom part there was not on the picture, so I'm going to pop that up. Those ones I do not use a liquid adhesive on because mostly it is on the picture and I know that it'll stick there just fine. So here's where I put the plaid circle on the picture, the wood grain under the picture, that is the epoxy flare now, and then I went ahead and put the green circle underneath the trees because it was over top of that same black and white paper that is the trees, and they were kind of disappearing into it. So then I went to my little bin here and I grabbed out some buttons, and I'm going to add I think there's 4 buttons I add, and then some little rhinestones into each cluster. I do not do the cute little circle, or I think it's hearts, sorry, that go from the picture up to the top right corner like they have in the sketch. But I do these little circles and embellishments, and I get those added. And then my title, I'm going to put in the same spot where it is in the sketch, and it just says New Day. And I'll get that glued down here. It's hard to read on camera, but in person you can see it just fine. And then I do distress the outside edge just to carry that distress all the way around. And then after I turn off the camera, I think first of all I'm going to add some little gems into each group. So I'll do 3 different sizes of these darker gems in each group, and they're really, really pretty. But after I turn off the camera and put everything away, I'm looking at the sketch and looking at the picture and realized I wanted to put that little twine that's on the bottom of the picture on here. So I will put a little twine on the bottom, and then I'll put little knots on each of the you'll see that in the pictures in the end. But yeah, I didn't film that. But I do like the way that it turns out. I think it's really cute with the twine, and it gives it that extra texture. So this is pretty much it. Here are the close-ups. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go and check the playlist out and see everyone else that's playing along with 30 Days of Sketches. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.